Hey, good morning, my friends. This is MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa. Lots to talk about in weather today. We have the remnants of, well, it's still a tropical depression. The remnants of what used to be Hurricane Barry was hurricane for just a short time during the middle of the day on Saturday into the Louisiana coastline. That is heading northward. That will provide some rainfall in the southeast third of the state. Tomorrow into early Wednesday. We'll look at that here in just a moment. We also have a clump of thunderstorms moving across northern lower Michigan right now. We'll see how that impacts our day. And then we'll talk about the sweltering heat and more likely the very high humidity on the way, but also a break already showing up. So this isn't some long-lasting type deal that we're going to have for weeks. Here's your satellite picture. And you can see the clump of thunderstorms moving across northern Michigan while southern Michigan has the sunshine. Radar shows that clump of thunderstorms. Usually at this time of the year, the storms will start to dissipate. These have not been severe. There's a couple of little stronger patches in there, but otherwise it's just a good rain developing for the northern part of Michigan. Like Keith Keel from Kalkaska, get ready for a nice rain on your way. Hey, northern Michigan with the sandy ground, we can always use the rainfall, can't we? All right, here is your tropical depression circulating here, and you can see the movement northward, and I will show that to you right now on the computer models. So here's that tropical depression. Here's our clump of thunderstorms this morning. That clump of thunderstorms works its way across northern Michigan and dissipates and can set out what we call outflow boundaries for scattered thunderstorms to develop in southern Michigan this afternoon. So we are in a kind of a hit and miss thunderstormy atmosphere right now. This is this evening, and so again, I think scattered thunderstorms, pretty good likelihood that, you know, the areas of thunderstorms will develop across southern Michigan, let's say. All right, so here's your tropical depression. This is tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, midday or early afternoon, I should say, evening, and tomorrow night. So the moisture from that tropical depression will be making it into southeast lower, and believe it or not, we could use a rainfall, especially with the heat that we have coming for the southern half of lower Michigan. And then we get into the heat on Thursday, and I'll show you a Friday's pattern, and I'll show you that, you know, the storm zone is still set up across northern Michigan, but this Friday pattern, that's a hot one with the air coming from the southwest and it being hot. So I would say that Friday will be our hottest day. Fast forward a little bit, we get into a storm pattern Sunday into Monday, and then we get a high pressure coming from Canada and much cooler northwesterly winds. So in other words, this is not going to be an extended hot spell. You know, what do you call hot? In Michigan in the summer, I call 90 degrees and warmer hot. You know, 87, 88, I call it very warm. And then 90 and above hot. So I would say far southern lower, Detroit, Ann Arbor, Jackson, Kalamazoo, you've got about maybe 5 days of the next 7 hit 90 degrees, and 1 or 2 of those hits 93 to 95 or 96. So it's a hot spell. You know, it's a little heat wave, but as I characterized it last week, it's a mini heat wave taking over 5 days, not something that lasts for the rest of July. What you're looking at here are the upper level temperatures in Celsius, but what I want you to focus on is when you get above 20 degrees, that's Celsius at 5,000 feet up. That's when the surface can get really hot, and when you get to 25, you get to 100 degrees. So I just want to show you that, you know, we have some very warm weather even before it gets hot. These 18 upper level temperatures, those produce 85 to 87 degrees if you're not under a clump of thunderstorms in the middle part of the day. So now we're going into Wednesday, And now we're going into Thursday, and you can see the hot dome starting to develop out here. Definitely in the hundreds. And that's early Thursday morning. This is Thursday afternoon, and so you can see how that upper level heat is spreading over lower Michigan, and that's what brings temperatures in the 90s. And we go into Friday afternoon. This model has the hot weather all over lower Michigan, and you go into Saturday and it continues it. But I want to show you then as we go into Sunday, starting to back down a little bit, and as we go into Monday and Tuesday, here comes much cooler upper level air, and that cools it down at the surface. What are going to be the dew points? Probably about 75 to 78 degrees. So this whole time period is going to be muggy, because remember, first off, the first thing that we have is the air coming from the remnants of a tropical system. Even if we don't get rainfall in that, it's going to bring the humidity way up. Those systems notoriously have widespread dew points of 75 to 78 degrees. That's very muggy air. That's New Orleans type air in the middle of summer. So humidity is going to be probably actually the biggest feature of this. The temperatures won't be extremely remarkable at 90 to 95, but the combination will be bad. It's going to be the hottest week yet this summer, Jeffrey Downer. Yes, it will. And you know what? From what I'm seeing, maybe it's the hottest week of the summer, and then I don't want to say we're on the downhill slide, but we're into August coming up in about 15 days. Yeah, August. All right, what you're looking at now are the high temperatures. So let's go back to today, and we're looking at 90 in the far south, a lot of 80s, 70s in the north where the remnants of the clouds are, but a humid 70s. Tuesday, we have the clouds coming in from the south with the remnants of that tropical system, and that holds the temperatures down in the south. And into Wednesday, start to even out and get rid of the storms. And then we go into Thursday, and we're approaching 90 degrees. I think this might be a couple of degrees cooler. The European is warmer. And we go to Friday, and you're into the 90s. And again, this one might be a little bit off by a couple of degrees, I think. Saturday, a very warm one. And then you'll start to get a feel for the cooler air starting to work its way in from the north. So just tough it out for a week. Enjoy heat, and you're going to be A-OK. Here's the heat indices when they really matter. Let's go to Thursday afternoon. Someone asked about the humidity. So this is the temperature and the humidity combined to what it would feel like, almost a summer equivalent of wind chill. The heat index over 100 degrees on Thursday, 100 to 105. Friday's heat index, look at that, pretty solidly 100 degrees plus across lower Michigan, and even the UP is going to be hot on Friday. And Saturday, the heat index still high, which is a sign that the humidity stays high. Even if the temperature drops down a couple of degrees on Saturday, the humidity stays high. And then we go to Sunday, and you get your heat index real hot in the far south, and you get much more comfortable in the north. So that should give you a real good feel for what's going to happen with this. The next 2 or 3 days, nothing remarkable on the temperatures. We're going to have areas of storms around that will be increasing the humidity. If the storms dry up and you get some sunshine for a few hours in the middle part of the day, it heats up to 85, 87 degrees pretty quickly, and it's kind of a preview of things to come. Then Thursday is when the hot weather starts to move in. Friday is when it peaks. Probably Saturday still. I've found that these models and us meteorologists are usually fast on the heat wave by a day or two, and usually too fast to move it out by a day or two. So I'd probably skew it to Thursday through Saturday instead of Wednesday through Friday. And then it does look like there's a pretty strong chance of the heat wave coming to an end and cooling back into 70s and 80s. Dare I say for about 10 days after that. And then dare I say I looked at the weather map then, and it was August 1st. August 1st, folks. And the average high temperature starts going down in the last week of July, first week of August. Very much opposite of what happens in, say, February and early March. The average high temperature starts going up, and you kind of know we've probably had the worst of the cold of winter. Well, never say never on summer heat. You can always have the hottest weather in August, or even we've had it a couple of years ago. Hottest weather of the year was in the first couple of weeks of September, when we had that crazy week where it was 95-ish for 4 or 5 days. That can happen, but the point being is the sunshine is slowly losing power. Slowly losing power, and couple of weeks to a month, we gotta start talking about the other stuff already. Crazy, isn't it? All right, there you have it. There's your update for this week. Thanks for joining me on the MLive Morning Weather Update. This is MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa. You know, liking is great. Sharing, please share so other folks know what we're doing. We get more reports down at the bottom in the comments that make it more usable for you, and everybody enjoys it. Let's take care. Have a great Monday. Stay out of the storms and be ready for the heat second half of the week. I'm MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa.